Hi, I'm Henry Segerman. This is the Skew dice set by the Dice Lab. The Dice Lab is myself and Robert Fathauer. This is a full D&D dice set with a D4, a D6, a D8, the two D10s that can be used together to make a D100, a D12, and the most cursed D20 you're ever likely to see. So these will be available, at least to start with, in our 5 standard colors: red, green, blue, black and white. Skew dice are just as fair as ordinary dice, despite the fact that their shapes are non-standard. So they're skewed in some way. You can see on this D6, for example, that the faces are not squares. However, all of the faces are the same. So you can see here the 6, the 2 and the 3 are all the same shape. And on the back, the 5, 1 and 4 are that same shape again. And so when you roll it, it's bouncing around on the table, and physics doesn't know the difference between the different faces, and so it can't be biased in terms of which face is going to come up. Speaking of faces coming up on top, the Skew D4 is a clear improvement on the standard D4 because it has an uppermost face, and so we can write a big number on that face. The Skew D6 is similar to our original Skew D6, which started this whole skewed thing going. But there's a few differences. Obviously, you can see we've replaced the pips on the original with numerals on this one, which fits better with the other dice in the set. It's also a little bit smaller and a little bit more skewed. The D8 is, of course, also skewed. You can see the face shape is not equilateral. It's some sort of scalene triangle. This is also unusual amongst the Skew dice, that it has a plane of symmetry, a mirror symmetry across, so you can see the left and the right sides here are the same. All of the other dice have some sort of chirality, meaning that there's a left-handed version and a right-handed version. The D10s, it turns out it's quite difficult to skew the D10 shape in a way which really changes the shape very much. This is different from the usual shape. You can see the kite there is not a symmetric kite, it's sort of shifted to the left here. And the two D10s have opposite chirality, so and we've numbered them that way as well. So there's sort of a, I don't know which one is left and which one is right, but on the left you can see that the 0 is opposite the 00, 0, the 7 opposite the 70, the 4 opposite the 40, and on the back the same thing, the 2 is opposite the 20 and so on. Speaking of the numbering, of course opposite numbers on each die add up to the same total. So on this D10, because there's a 0, the 0 is opposite the 9, the 4 is opposite the 5, and so on. We've also done our numerical balancing around the vertices. So in this case, the sum of the numbers around this vertex of degree 5 is 22. And on the other side we get 23. So that's as close as you can get because the D10 has an odd number of odd numbers on it. And we also have tried to get the most balanced sums around, in this case, the vertices of degree 3. So here we've got 1 and 9 and 4, which gives 14. And if you add up all of the numbers around the triples, you get sums ranging between 11 and 16, which is as good as you can get. The D12 is, of course, not a regular dodecahedron, it's a skewed dodecahedron, and you can see there the face there is not a regular pentagon, it's this skewed shape. And finally there's the D20. Unlike all of the other shapes, it turns out there's no way to skew the standard D20 shape, the icosahedron. You can change it a little bit and come out with a shape that is a fair die. So the only thing that we could do is make this double pyramid abomination. And it is admittedly a little difficult to tell which face comes up on top. This one is a 1, maybe that's a good angle to see it from. It's not so bad in person, that is an 8, I believe. Yeah, that's an 8. But let's be clear, you don't buy this D20 because you want a better D20. You buy this D20 because you're committed to celebrating the geometric expression of things being slightly off, something not being quite right. The first indication that everything is not as it seems, just before eldritch horrors pierce the veil of reality and all are consumed by madness, or something like that. Anyway, this is the Skew dice set by the Dice Lab. Thanks for watching.